Stephanie Williams with Worcester Sports Journal for Worcester Daily News here at Camp Light Boxing Gym in Worcester. AJ, thank you first of all for putting all these interviews together.
Thank you.
So first of all, tell me first of all about this fight, this card that you put together. How did you put it together?
So we started the company back in 2017. We did the first New England's Future. We decided to call it New England's Future because realistically, all these kids that we have fighting make up all the New England states. You know, I got guys from Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, you know, all over. And they're the future. They're the future of this region. They're the future of these states. They're the future of boxing. So we just thought it was the idea to keep going with the whole New England's Future. So this show upcoming is New England's Future 7. It's not our 7th show. We took 2 shows off where we called it home. One was called Homecoming, which was my dad's comeback fight, and then the other one was called Quest for 50, which was my dad's 50th pro fight. So this one's called New England Future 7. We have all guys, like I said, coming from Worcester. We have Bobby Harris Jr., we have Ashley Owusu, Brian Daniels, Joey Edmonds. Those are our Worcester guys. We have Wilfredo Pagan fighting for a New England title. He's from Southbridge. Cassius Chaney, big heavyweight. He's a couple fights away from being up there with the Furies, the Wilders, all those guys. He's literally maybe a fight or 2 away from that. He actually is locally from New England. He's training out in Florida now. He's fighting on the card. That's going to be huge. And then of course, we call him our adopted brother, Richie Rivera. He's originally from Hartford, Connecticut, but he's made a name for himself out here in Worcester. He won his first title out here in Worcester. He's a fan favorite out here. Everyone's always asking, you know, when's Popeye coming back? When's Popeye coming back? He's 19-0 now. He's got 2 titles. He'll be fighting for his 3rd title. So Popeye is coming back. That's huge. I hope I'm not leaving. Angel. Angel is originally from Hartford as well. He'll be making his Massachusetts debut. This kid's got a great amateur career, really great fighter. He's actually originally a smaller guy, but skills pay the bills, and he's willing to go a little heavier and fight, you know, even guys above his weight class. He's that good. Who else? Who else do we got on the card? I hope I'm not forgetting anyone. Oh, we have a 2012 Olympian from Puerto Rico. He's probably the only guy. He actually is the only guy on the card that's not from New England, but he does some training out in Connecticut. Enrique Colazo. He'll be fighting for a title.
You have somebody from the World Games too?
Yeah, so actually Bobby fought and won a silver medals in the World Games. He beat Hasim Rahman, who's a former world champion's son, Sharif Rahman. He beat him in the Nationals, who he was training out of Mayweather's money team at the time. Bobby beat him to go to Ecuador. And Bobby fought a kid that was from Ecuador, ended up getting a silver.
Has a dad.
Yeah, we actually, I mean, blood couldn't make us any closer. We grew up, we call each other cousins, brothers, and I actually call his dad uncle. So we're super close.
I was telling Brian before you, that when I came in, I saw some of the pictures on the wall here. A lot of history.
Oh yeah, no, Worcester's history with boxing is deep. You know, it all stems from Carlos Garcia, the Godfather, our grandfather. He's the guy who took all our dads off the streets, and friends of our dads that have grew up with us, like uncles like Rocky Gonzalez. He trains Jermaine Ortiz. He trains with Bobby. He actually trains Joey Edmonds, who the manager is Nate Torres. Rocky was a Carlos Garcia, you know, prodigy. Bobby as well. My dad, Rashad Minor. You know, these guys either had stellar amateur careers, and some of them had good pro careers. And then it stemmed down to the Edwin Rodriguez's, who Edwin almost went to the Olympics in 2008. He took himself out for family.
But Bobby Harris's father almost
he was a 1992 Olympic alternative. So that was the year with Mosley and De La Hoya.
I remember he actually lived at that time. I'm dating myself here. He actually lived right across the hall from me on Franklin Street.
Okay, yeah. Franklin Street. I hear all about those times because my aunt lived on Franklin Street. He lived there. My dad lived there. They all lived together. So I hear a lot of Franklin Street stories.
When we used to all hang out, there used to be a place downtown called Jimbo's Pizza.
Jimbo was their manager.
Yeah.
Jimbo was their manager and their trainer. Rest in peace, Jimbo. Jimbo was a good guy. He actually was one of the local promoters around here, keeping guys busy. But Jimbo ended up managing Bobby.
Yep.
And he did a little bit of training. Towards the end of my dad's career, he actually took over some training and stuff like that before passing away.
Let's talk about what is it like for you coming up as a son of a boxer, but also you have fought too.
Yeah. So I love boxing by default. You know, I kind of didn't. While other kids were introduced to cartoons and normal kid stuff, my cartoons and playing this was my playground, right here, what you see here. So I love boxing. It's always been a part of my life. As I got older and I decided I was going to be on the business side of boxing, it was more so like finding a way to stay in the sport that I love. Because I really have not tried life without boxing. You know, I've always been around it, just witnessing my dad fighting and training, being in the gym with him all the time, to eventually me fighting amateur, to then moving on to, I went to college for sports entertainment and event management. And I decided I was going to be on the business side of boxing. So that's how I stay involved in the sport I love. And you know, it was cool. It was cool growing up with it. It was cool. It was hard at the same time because for a while it's like I was never my own person. It was always, oh, look at Jose's son. Look at Jose's son. Especially growing up in here, where everyone knows him. You know, I'm at the local grocery store and it's like, oh, look at little Jose. First of all, my name's not even Jose. So, but you know, it was cool at the same time. I got to meet a lot of people. I've got to see a lot of life outside of Worcester.
Yeah.
So, you know, no complaints.
Again, going back to the history of fighting, you just had a kid. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You also work with the Massachusetts Pirates, the arena football team here locally in the city of Worcester.
Yep.
How do you balance all that time, like promoting fights, managing fighters, and working for the Pirates, plus you're raising a new baby?
I want it. I want to be successful. I love the grind. I have an end goal in sight through all of this that, you know, it's kind of like a sacrifice now, relax later type thing, you know. I make it work, you know. I have good support. I have good family support and stuff like that. Plus, it's a little, I don't want to say easier because it's not easy with a baby, but it's a little easier right now because, you know, he's not in school, he's not involved in sports yet. So it's not like I have to take him to practice or anything like that. It's really just once my day's done with my work, you know, my Pirates, my boxers, go home, take care of them, spend time with them, and then repeat the same thing the next day, you know?
So boxer or football player, what are you hoping for the future for him?
Whatever he loves, you know? One thing I feel like, you know, me and my dad are best friends, and I feel like it's because he didn't force me or persuade me to do anything I didn't want to do. He actually put me in all sports, and believe it or not, my best sport that I was naturally really good at was baseball, and he actually wanted me to stick with that. But me being, you know, stubborn and loving this sport, it was like I was more just attracted to boxing and football. I call football, so I say boxing is my first love, football is my mistress, and I love football too.
Football's great.
But realistically, you know, 5'8". I'm not going to the NFL.
But baseball, you could play.
I could have, and sometimes now that I think about it, I'm like, wow, you know, them guaranteed contracts are looking better and better. I should have stuck with that, you know. Boxing is you get paid when you fight. That's it, you know. Baseball, whether you get benched, whether you start, whether you get hurt.
Still get paid.
Yeah. Okay, what is it? Bobby Bonilla still getting paid?
See that?
Every July 1st or something like that, you know.
So, baseball is nice. Are you a Worcester fan?
I support my Worcester. I have not gone to a game yet. I do want to go to a game. I'm a Red Sox fan. Yeah. So by default, I'm a Red Sox fan, and they're in my they're in my my city. So I'm a Red Sox fan. Yeah, you know, I love sports in general. You know, I'm sure my my son eventually is gonna pick something, and I'm just gonna rock with it and support it.
So let's get back to this card that you put together. What is the future of these fighters?
So the future of these fights is bigger and better. We start at the Palladium, hopefully with the support of our local states in our city, and we're doing DCU Center, and we're doing the Dunkin' Donuts Center, and we're just climbing and going up. Ideally, those fights you see on TV is where I want to be at. I want to be at the Don King level without being Don King, but you know what I mean. World Championship fights, TV fights, pay-per-view fights, and then hopefully, the future of these fighters is for them, whatever their end goals are, whether it's money, whether it's championships, whether it's both. I hope all of them have the capability to do it. I don't see them being stopped unless they stop themselves. All these fighters are legit, unbiased. All these fighters are legit. Even the ones that you don't know about that are not on this card, but from Worcester, you have Kendrick Ball Jr. He's defending his WBC belt. I don't see anyone at 160, 168 competing with his power level. His height, his reach, he's a problem. Irving Gonzalez, that's another one. He's 126 pounds. The kid's like 5'11". He's a freak. He fights righty, fights lefty. Nobody realistically is going to be able to stop him besides himself. And then you have Jermaine Ortiz, that's another one. These Worcester fighters are legit,
Jermaine Ortiz, great fighter.
Phenomenal fighter.
Sadly, he lost his last fight.
No, you got to draw.
You got to
He didn't
draw.
lose.
That's right.
No, you got to draw. And a draw with another promoter's fighter on another promoter's show, we know that equals. That equals a win. He won that fight. Out of the 8 rounds they fought, he won 6 of them. Won 6 of them. He lost 2 of the rounds, and they called it a draw. The boxing world knows what that is. No, absolutely not. No, you don't. Regardless if the 2 rounds he got knocked down in, you don't win a fight losing 6 rounds and only winning 2 rounds. And it just doesn't. That just doesn't happen. This kid got repeatedly outworked. He got pressured. When Jermaine was fighting going forward, the kid had no answer. When Jermaine was fighting going backwards, the kid had no answer. That was apparent, But it was a Bob Arum fighter on a Bob Arum card in Florida. And you know what? I just commend them for taking the fight. The kid's 14-0 and fought another 14-year-old guy who had that kid had over 150 amateur fights. That kid was a good fighter. You don't see that nowadays. You don't see guys taking their first real test sometimes until they're 25-0, 28-0, 30-0. I mean, you got world champions right now that still refuse to fight legit competition. So the fact that he even took this fight this early in his career, hats off to him. But, right now,
Do you think that he was on your past card as a future fighter? Do you see him in the Olympics one day?
So as a pro fighter, he can't make the Olympics because they only do amateur fighters. World Games, the same thing. Those are only amateur fighters. At this point, the end goal is world champion. So in the amateurs, you can win. You can go to the Olympics or you can go to the World Games. But as a pro, you can't. You would lose. There's certain countries that allow their pro fighters to do it, but it's an amateur. It's supposed to be an amateur tournament. That's why a lot of Cuban guys don't go pro. They just win a bunch. They win like a shitload of Olympic fights and gold medals.
If you're 19 years old and you're fighting and you're still amateur, and you know that once you go pro, you can't go to the Olympics. And that's your goal.
So I mean, being an Olympic, you're the best in the world as an amateur. So that's not a bad goal. You just want a medal for your country. That's the most prestigious thing you can do as an amateur. So it's not a bad thing. It will also get you paid as a pro. So if you're 19 years old and you're still shooting for the Olympics, by all means, if you can realistically even make the team and go and win, do it up, because that's only going to get you it's going to get you more notoriety, and it's going to get you paid as a lot of these guys, because they didn't have stellar amateur, or they had good amateur backgrounds, but because they weren't Olympic level, they're climbing from rock bottom. Realistically, I'm pretty sure, like even Brian has fought guys that, in the amateurs, that have fought at national levels and now are undefeated pros and stuff like that, and beat some of those guys. You know, Owen Minor, who's local from Worcester, never got to make the Olympic team, but he's beaten guys who have won nationals, and he's beaten guys who are now up there at the world championship level. So it's sometimes it's great. It's a great achievement to have, but it doesn't necessarily define your career. Manny Pacquiao has no amateur backgrounds, and one of the greatest fighters of any generation. Bernard Hopkins started fighting in prison, so there was no amateur background for him either. So it doesn't make or break your career. If you want to pursue it, but don't think because you didn't go to the Olympics or you didn't win a medal that you're not going to be a good pro. My dad had a 30-15 amateur record and won 3 world championships. So the amateurs doesn't always define your career.
I see a picture over here on the wall of Muhammad Ali. I mean, when you look at some of these boxers that are here in this gym, how do you get them to that level?
A team. I tell people
You guys have a team.
Yeah, we have a good team, but what I try to tell a lot of people don't realize. So that era, it's hard to compare nowadays because that era was, first of all, it was a 15-round era. One champion per weight class, so you had no choice but to, like, your skills had to pay the bills. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate, but it's also fortunate. Unfortunately, boxing's changed a little bit where your skills don't necessarily have to pay the bills anymore. You could just be popular and make it. It's just what it is. There's guys at a TV level, a world champion level, that I would bet my whatever I can bet that some of these local guys would beat them, but they're popular, you know, and that's kind of, there's a huge gap now between the popular guys and the guys who are actually legit, you know. The Paul brothers, they're making 6 figures, 7 figures per fight, but they're not fighters. I mean, they're trying to be. I commend them. I take nothing off their hustle. They're making more money than some world champions have ever made. But
About money, it's not about the actual fight.
and people gotta learn that. In boxing, there's a difference. There's a difference. Just because you're rich and just because you're making money and just because you're popular, just because you're on TV, doesn't make you a good fighter. I know plenty of guys. I mean, we can bet on it. We can make the fight happen if Logan or Jake wants to. My dad at 49, 48 years old can come out of retirement and put it on both in the same night.
Came out of retirement.
He did.
He fought.
48. If they want the smoke, they can get that. Kendrick Ball, I'm pretty sure, 168. He'll probably fight him at 185 if they wanted. Joey's 2-0. Joey will beat both Paul brothers as well, and he's only 2-0. So there's a difference between actually.
Is how you can look around this gym and you can name every player.
Oh
Every
yeah,
fighter that's
yeah.
in the gym. Going back to Muhammad Ali, let's turn the page. Don King. Do you consider yourself the Don King of this?
Oh, that's. Ooh, I don't want to get myself in trouble there. Nah, so I definitely don't. You know, Don paved the way. He paved the way. There's nothing but respect there for Don. But do I want to be known as Worcester's Don King? Absolutely not, because when you hear of Don King, there's going to be a lot more bad than you hear of good. Yes, he made great champions. Yes, he had Ali, he had Tyson.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more with that name.
Yeah.
So what I would like to be is I would like to be maybe Worcester's Al Heyman. You know,
That's probably a name that
a lot of people don't even know Al Heyman. You know why? Because he's the quiet, humble guy. He's the ghost in the background. But every pretty much major fight that you're seeing on TV, he's behind it. He's behind Mayweather's career. He's actually one of the guys that behind Edwin Rodriguez's career. The Charlo fight that just happened this past weekend. I mean, he's got almost, if somebody is at an elite level, Al Heyman's probably got him. And the only other guys that he's competing with right now would be like Bob Arum, Lou DiBella, Eddie Hearn, can't forget Eddie Hearn. But Al Heyman's the top dog right now. So I would like to be more known as him. But
So I'm going to put you on the spot. I kind of brought this up to your dad before too.
Okay.
Where you work in public safety as well. We won't say what you do in public safety, but you work in public safety as well. Your dad works in public safety as well. And I've always said we should have a charity fight in Worcester.
Oh, 100%.
Media versus court officers and corrections officers. What do you
So
think
I
of
mean,
that?
are you from Worcester?
So I'm from Worcester.
You're from okay. So one thing I commend and I loved, I absolutely love it. I still remember it to this day. All these guys, actually, all these Worcester guys either have fought on these shows or have been there. Was the gang unit used to do something beautiful for us, for Carlos Garcia, for the Boys and Girls Club. Is the gang unit, the Worcester gang unit, used to do charity events and donate all proceeds to the boxing team.
If we did media versus.
But what they would do is, on these charity events, they would do like a Worcester police officer versus like a Hudson police officer, or they would do like a Worcester firefighter versus like an Auburn firefighter, a Worcester barber versus like a Leominster barber. They did these for years, numbers and numbers of years. Worcester media person like from Channel 3 versus a Boston media part, like they did that, yeah, for years, and donated lots of money to they took the time and donated lots of money to the Boys and Girls Club boxing team specifically, because the boxing team,
Like that back?
oh, I would love that back, because they also gave us opportunities to stay busy. Whenever there wasn't a lot of amateur tournaments going on, we would sometimes get on those, like we wouldn't fight firefighters and police officers, but we would fight other boxers from other regions. So you would have the barbers and the firefighters and the police officers and the media fighting each other. And then sometimes they would throw in, that's actually, I don't know if you should have brought it up to Brian Daniels. That's how Brian Daniels started his career. It was called Give Kids a Fighting Chance. And he first fought on that. He fell in love with boxing and has kept with it ever since.
I think he actually brought that.
Yeah, so he started on charity event, and then look at, boom, pro fighter now. So that was an awesome event. I would love to bring that back. I think it had got shut down for like political reasons.
Yeah.
I can look more into that, but I would love to team up with the gang unit and do that again. I love all those guys over there. I grew up, I mean, as a kid, they used to have a camp too, a summer camp. I don't even know if they still run it, but the gang unit summer camp, they did like sports all week long. So like a kid like me we did baseball, football. I love that camp. You know, Nate, Sergeant Roach, Mello was part of that as well. Like, those guys are awesome.
So, where do you go from the futures? I mean, where as a promoter, where do you go?
So as a promoter, eventually we're gonna start signing guys, cause I'm doing the dirty work for these big promoters right now. You know, it's hard. It's just me and my dad. We're just a one-man working team. You know, my uncle is actually part of the team now as well. And we've created great business relationships just out of being different than your average promoter. You know, I'm not forcing guys to take fights. I'm letting them pick their weights, their opponents, their rounds. I come to them from a fighter's like sympathy. So we've created great working relationships. So with the help of, and when I say with the help of, like Nate Torres, he's a phenomenal manager. He's got multiple guys, but he's easy to work with because we have that mutual respect with each other. AJ Galanti, another guy, he's from Danbury, Connecticut. He's got Omar Bordoy. He works with the Felice brothers. He's got a gym called Champs Gym out in Danbury. Phenomenal guy. We have a great working relationship. He makes working with his guys easier. So ideally, we would like to start eventually signing guys, because we get these guys, get them 2 wins, 3 wins, 4 wins, 5 wins, 6 wins, 7, whatever, however many wins, and then another bigger promoter comes and soups them up because we don't have them signed. So eventually we're gonna start signing guys and hopefully building our own stable of champions.
Let's talk about you growing up in Worcester.
Okay.
What's it like for you?
It was
Minus the boxing,
so minus the boxing. I mean, it was cool. It was there was a lot of pressure. You know, I had to always. I feel like there was time periods where I couldn't just focus on being a kid, you know, because I had the weight of being the world champion's son on my back. So, you know, you make mistakes. You're a human being. You know, you're not perfect, and that it kind of took away from my childhood and my teenage years. That it was almost like I was, you know, I had to be a certain kind of way. But you know, overall it was great. It was one big family for me because everyone also looked out for me. You know, I always had, because I had eyes on me. You know, it was. My dad always said it takes a village to raise a kid. You know, and I was actually planning on moving, and then when I had my son, I stayed because I know that the importance of having all those eyes on you. You know, those guys who grew up on the boxing team with my dad became uncle, father figures for me that kept me in line, kept me in shape, snitched on me whenever they had to snitch on me. But you know, I had guys like Carlos Garcia who always watched out for me. Kendrick Ball always, you know, looked out for me. Rashad Minor, Sean Fitzgerald, these guys were on the boxing team with my dad. Always looked out for me. The gang unit guys, the court officer guys, with my dad being, you know, a court officer. So, you know, it was cool. It was, you know, it was almost like having one big family, having an extended family. I feel like I have brothers that are not my blood brothers, but, you know, we've shed blood, sweat, and tears together. So these guys are my brothers, you know. Uncles, same thing. They're not my blood uncles, but they're my uncles. So it was cool in that aspect. Hard at times, though.
So it was a question you had asked me to ask boxers. So I'm going to ask you that question. What advice would you give to upcoming kids that are boxers? But not only that question, I wanted to follow up with that question and ask you, what advice would you give to kids that are the sons or the daughters of boxers, of champions, being the son of a champion?
So for the first question, what advice would I give to kids that want to be boxers? Discipline, 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 discipline. You're going to have to do things that you don't want to do. You're going to have to do things that nobody else is doing. You're going to have to separate yourself. It's considered the loneliest sport in the world for a reason. There's no, even though it's good to have a team, like your coach is your team, your manager is your team, your cutman is your team, but in that ring, you're by yourself. You don't have teammates. There's nobody to hand the ball to. So what you put in when no one is looking is what's going to show in there. So the discipline aspect of it is huge. You're going to have to sacrifice going to that party. You're going to have to sacrifice holidays and birthdays. There was times where Christmas Eve comes. We're a big Spanish family. We got a whole lot of food, rice, beans, chicken, pork, all that. Paneer, coquito. My dad was sitting in the corner of my aunt's house being disciplined, sipping his water and having his salad while all this food and liquor's in front of him and he can't touch none of it. And he would have to end his night early. He'd have to leave early to go to bed to be able to wake up at 5 a.m. and go run. A lot of people don't want to do that, but that separates the good fighters from the great fighters. That separates the 4-round fighters, the 6-round fighters, and the 8-round fighters from the great 12-round fighters. Talent is only going to get you so far. You could be God-given, but there is somebody else out there that's working 2-3 times harder than you that will beat your God-given talent. So you have to work hard. It's lonely, it's frustrating, but it's gonna pay off. Another advice I could give up-and-coming kids is learn how to use social media in the right way. Market yourself. Boxing is no longer just about skill, unfortunately, it's about popularity. If you could sell tickets, if you've got charisma, if you can talk in public, if you can speak multiple languages and go to multiple fan bases, you're gonna be a hot ticket seller. You're gonna be a big name in the boxing community. That's gonna get you paid. So work on your marketing skills. For sons of champions, take what worked for your father and use it. Take what didn't work for your father and use that as well. So be observant. My dad, just to give an example, my dad had sickening work ethic. So I realized work ethic is what's going to get me to win some of these fights. But he also, he was, I don't want to say one-dimensional, but he had one style that could be adapted to. So I learned that I had to mix it up. I had to do something a little different than him, you know? So just don't be identical to your dads. Pave your own way, take what worked for them, take what didn't work for them, and use it. And, you know, hopefully all works out. Also, if your dad loves you, he's gonna want what's best for you. So if you feel like you have reached a plateau with your dad, you can always keep him in your corner. You can always keep him as an assistant coach. But the game of boxing is always about learning and being bigger and better than your last fight. So you want to be able to keep learning from your father. When it hits a point where you can't learn from him no more, maybe that's when it's time to move on. A lot of guys have too much attachment issues to their fathers, and that ends up being the downfall of their career, you know.
Knowing your father, and then how you just mentioned his work ethic and his discipline. When I see you with the Masters of Pirates, and I see you involved with fights, I see a little bit of your father in you.
Yeah.
That work ethic, that discipline. Do you feel like he rubbed off on you a lot of
That definitely rubbed off. It rubbed off on me. It's not in the traditional way of like 9 to 5 collar work, but I'm working hard. These fights, nobody sees what goes into making these fights. I mean, I'm like 3 weeks before the fights, and I had a couple opponents fall out. I'm scrambling. I'm talking to guys in Mexico. I'm working. And then on top of that, I work game days with the Pirates, but I also work during the week with the Pirates. I do boxing training for them. I'm doing mitts with them. I love that team. So.
Do you think Jawad, I've seen some Instagram videos of him boxing. Do you think he's going to be on a card one day?
Oh, my guy, I don't care if he says no. My guy is definitely getting on a card one day. Yeah. Jawad's getting on a card one day. He is. No, he's come a long way. I've been with Jawad since the first year, and since the Pirates started, I mean, he's come a long way. I mean, there's not many guys
he's like your
doing
dad. He's like your dad in a lot of ways, where your dad, you know, he never left the city.
Yeah.
He could have left the city.
Yeah.
He could have done anything.
So his dad and him remind me of me and my dad, you know? Exactly. We're both father-son football team, father-son boxing. Yeah. We're the two in the trenches with it. The dads help out and support. Yeah. Yeah, no, he works hard. He works hard. That dude he's got sickening work ethic.
When do we get him over here?
I can.
To a ring?
Oh, I brought him over here. He's done some sparring. Listen. I'll put Jawad against any owner in the NAL, any owner in the IFL. Jawad's giving you all the hands. His work ethic is sickening though. A lot of people don't see it. He's a one-man working crew when it comes to he scouts his own players. He's signing them. There's times where me and him are not getting mitts in until midnight. Yep. Like he'll call me like, hey, let's get mitts in at 7 o'clock. And he gets tied up with whether it's the players or meetings or whatever, and now we're getting it in at midnight. And after we're done, he's gonna go right back in his office, and he's scouting players that only he's got the eye for talent. Guys who are second string, third string guys on our team are leaving our team and starters somewhere else. That's how talented our team is, and Jawad's bringing that talent in here. His work ethic is, like I said, he's in the office. I've seen him sleep in the office. So he's putting in work. Everyone always gets to see the night of, that's why I relate with him a lot. Everyone sees game day. They get to see the end prize. They see my fight night. They get to see the end prize. They don't see outside the ring, and they don't see outside the field that work ethic that gets put into that stress, that want to pull your hair out, BS that comes with sports, you know? It comes, it's not easy.
There's our quote over here, to my right. I'm to my left.
Yep.
Be a champ, you'll have to believe in yourself when no one else will. What does that mean to you? And what does that mean to you when you promote your fighters?
It means everything so if I had it my way, right, I would be already at the Al Heyman level. I gotta believe in myself that I'll get there. I know more about this sport than a lot of people do. Like, you know, I made a bet with a friend actually. There was a 12-4 guy fighting a 2-4 guy. He bets me this 12-4 guy is gonna win. I tell him, no. This 2-4 guy is gonna win. We made a bet. I just won that bet last weekend. Styles make fights. I understand that. I've been in the sport long enough that I know more than most people do. I believe in myself. I believe eventually, and a lot of people who are friends of mine, family of mine, just tell me, work that 9 to 5, keep that public safety job, you know, it's comfortable, and it's like, no. I get you guys want me to take the safe route, but I'm taking the I'm gonna believe in myself route, and I'm shooting for bigger and better things. And that's essentially what these boxers gotta do. This sport is lonely. Not everyone looks at these guys and says, hey, you're gonna be the next Muhammad Ali, you're gonna be the next Mike Tyson, you're gonna be the next Floyd. They have to believe that stuff. When no one else is believing in them, when nobody else is supporting them, they're putting in this overtime, they're putting in this work. And eventually their self-belief leads them to where, because if you didn't believe in yourself, you would let the naysayers push you out. And you know, it's related, because we were just talking about the same thing with Jawad. You know, oh, you can't, you know, manage a team. You can't, you know, be the GM of a team. You can't do this, and he's doing it. This is the longest a indoor football team has been here in Massachusetts.
Yes.
And we've never not made the playoffs. We would have won the chip first year. Our starting quarterback unfortunately broke his ankle. Second year, made it again, was about to go on a chip, and our best wide receiver, first drive of the game, completely tore his knee out.
Yeah.
You know, this year we got it. Third strike's a charm, we got it, but we've never not. We've come into the league and taken whatever league we're in by storm.
Yeah.
And that's the belief in himself, that's the belief in those players trusting him, trusting themselves, and it shows on the field, you know?
Jawad is I mean, not to sidetrack and talk about arena football, but he's a great guy.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. He's a businessman.
Definitely.
And that's where you two kind of match up together, because you guys are both businessmen.
And we got to believe in ourselves when nobody else does.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, you don't think I can make it in this boxing game, and I have a lot going against me, but I say I will.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think the Pirates will go all the way, hopefully this year.
Oh, they're going all the way. We're winning a chip this year. Mark my words, 2021. Nobody. We're what, 7-3 right now? 7-3, should be 9-3. There's a team that fell out the league, but we've never been outright beat this season. We've only beat ourselves. You got you know, personal fouls and things like that, but no teams outright came through and beat us.
Yeah.
We've literally been in control of every game we've had until we've lost control here.
Yeah.
We're winning this. As long as we don't beat ourselves, we're winning this year.
And like you just said, when you lose control here, and that's how it is in boxing too.
You got to be here at all times. You got to stick to your game plan. You can't get frustrated. You got to always be here.
So when you compare sports, boxing and football,
They're synonymous. They're synonymous. They're the same. They're the same. If I'm on my game plan and my coach is telling me something, but I get hit, I go out there and I lose control, and I let this guy get me off I'm not fighting my fight no more. I'm fighting his fight. And it's the same thing. If Coach Patrick Pass and Coach Kaiser and Coach Stout and Coach Bones tells them, hey, this is what you're doing, and our guy's so mad at whatever someone else is on the field, not listening to what they're saying, we're asked out, you know? So you gotta be the discipline, the work ethic, and just that hungry dog. That's the only two sports that you gotta be like a hungry dog, or boxing and football, you know? So it's very synonymous, and the violence of it, you know? So.
Hello, I'm Baker Mayfield.
I'm Anthony Russo.
I'm Donovan Mitchell.
I'm Diana Taurasi.
I'm Ryan Blaney.
And I have something to confess.
I had a formidable Beanie Baby collection.
I used to say YOLO a lot.
I paid a lot of money for ringtones.
I had a sick flowing mullet one time.
My Cabbage Patch Kid's name was Dolores.
I used to rock bleached tips.
I used to rank my friends on MySpace.
I rented movies at Blockbuster.
I used to wear jorts. That's right, jean shorts.
I used to drink Gatorade.
Yeah, I used to drink Gatorade.
We all used to drink it.
It was the only sports drink out there.
Now there's Body Armor.
I drink Body Armor now.
I drink Body Armor now.
I'm Team Body Armor now.
All right, welcome back to Worcester Sports Journal. I'm here with Brian Daniels. You're going to be on the Futures, New England Futures card, fighting in August.
Yes, August 14th.
Are you excited about this?
Extremely. For me, it's been 3 years since my last fight, so being able to step back in the ring, kind of, prove to myself that I still have it, and be able to prove to the city that, somebody to fight for.
How and why did you start boxing?
Oh man, I've been boxing now actually 13 years. So I started just as a workout, but it was just something that attracted me because I was always into contact sports. I played football, basketball. I was a very active kid. A friend of mine brought me into the sport, and it just captivated me because it was different from a team atmosphere, and it was really more an individualized thing where you kind of get into it what you put into it. And I was able to dominate just because I worked hard. I had a better work ethic than the majority of people. So that's really what captivated me. And then, I had success at an early age fighting in the amateurs, and it just continued to build.
When you first stepped into the ring, what was that like for you?
For me, it was definitely an adrenaline rush, but it was pretty much like a test. That's what it really felt like, and I was willing to do whatever it took to pass that test.
When you're in a fight like this in the future, what's the excitement level?
It's a lot. You're fighting at home, number one. I think that's the most important thing. So there are a lot of people that care and support you that you want to impress. But also, for me, I would consider myself seasoned. I'm 5-1 now as a pro, so I have a lot to prove. Am I progressing? Am I somebody that people want to follow? Just a lot of question marks to check off, and a lot of boxes to hit. So I'm just, for me, I have a lot of anticipation and answering questions for people.
The fight's just weeks away, right around the corner. What's your mindset like, and how are you preparing yourself mentally and physically for this fight?
Well, so I talk about boxing being an individualized sport, but it's a camp right now. So I do have a coach. We have trainers and stuff like that. So it's a mix of listening to them, my body, how I'm feeling, fine tweaking things, and just staying focused on the process. Because it is tiring, it's enduring, but through that we're making steps forward and progressing and getting to where we eventually want to be. And it's been a great camp so far, and we're close, we're really close.
Let's talk about the discipline real quick. I know that wasn't one of the questions I put on, but let's talk about the discipline real quick. Can you explain what that's
Absolutely.
like?
Well, I think there are definitely levels to it, right? There's a mental piece to it, there's a physical piece to it. You got to kind of hone in on all of those. For me, I've been all in, so I put all the chips in, staying extremely disciplined to the training process, doing what you're supposed to do, even when people aren't pushing you to do it. I think that's the biggest portion of it. And then, the outside influences can negatively hurt you. Everybody's got friends, they all want to go out and have fun, and you got to be disciplined to surround yourself with a team of people and be able to say no, when temptations come. And I just had a birthday. I just had my 34th birthday.
Happy belated birthday.
Appreciate it. But I had to refuse, certain dishes and things like that, and just stay disciplined to the process, because right now I'm in the middle of a weight cut, so you got to stay on task. So the discipline piece of it can make you or break you, and I think that's what separates the different levels of fighters. You got your C level, B level, A level fighters, and I'm pushing to be an A level fighter.
Awesome. If boxing was like a NCAA March Madness tournament, who would you want to fight?
Oh man, for me, the big names, Alexander Olet, he's at the top of my weight class. He's a pound for pound champion right now. So having the opportunity to step in there and prove myself against him would be great, you know.
How are you feeling about your next fight?
My next fight, I'm excited. I'm focused, I would say, you know, and I'm looking to impress and make some noise in this fight. So, you know, going into it, I'm fighting a guy that's got a lot of experience. He's fought some bigger name fighters, guys that just got titles and stuff like that. And I want to prove that, you know, I can compete at that level as well. So I'm looking to, you know, get this guy out of there, but do it skillfully, you know, and impress people.
That leads me to the next question. I mean, what is your message to your opponent? I know some boxers don't like the trash talk, but what is your message to your opponent?
You know, I just hope he's been putting in as much work as I have, because, you know, I'm looking to get the job done, and losing is really isn't an option for me. So I would just say I hope that he's been putting hours in the gym, because I'm coming.
And what's at stake for you in your upcoming bout?
I mean, it's a lot, you know. For me, I'm all big about goals, and I got people looking up to me, you know what I mean? Not just really the city, but I have a family, I have children, you know, and it's kind of I'm setting an example by putting in this work. So, you know, my children, you know, will be looking at this as well as, you know, a measuring point. Like, okay, my dad's worked hard, and let's see if that work will pay off. And I'm hoping that I can translate that to them, you know, to give them confidence about their future.
Worcester has a history of local boxing. My grandfather was a boxer in Worcester for years. Rashad Minor, I came in, I saw his picture on the wall over there. We went to high school together.
Okay.
Bobby Harris and all of them. Lots of great boxers in Worcester that have left their mark on Worcester. What type of mark do you want to leave on Worcester?
You know, I think I just want to leave one of pride. Like, I want to be someone that people are proud of, you know, for better or worse, you know. And I don't think it's all about wins or losses, but I think it's about representing the city, being competitive, you know what I mean, and, you know, essentially have an opportunity to bring a title back. You know, I'm going to go on a run this year. I'm looking to have 3 or 4 fights and stay really busy, and just make people happy, you know, that somebody's fighting for their city.
Nice. What is your message to your fans?
You know, my message to my fans is, you know, work hard and everything is possible. You know, it doesn't matter really what's in front of you. If it's a goal that you want, you got to believe in it and go after it. And, you know, I have all the excuses in the world not to be in this position, but I still set it aside and I focused on the things that are important. And, you know, big things are coming. You know, I'm going to make some noise. I'm hoping to make you guys proud, and definitely going to be getting a win this 14.
So we asked some people what kind of questions they would want to ask you.
Okay.
And we would select one question out of those questions.
Sure.
This question actually comes from AJ.
Okay.
I'm sure you probably know who that is.
Yeah.
What message do you have for kids in the city that may look up to you or may want to box one day? What advice would you say? What advice would you offer to them?
Absolutely. I think starting off this at a young age, consistency. Consistency. You're not always going to feel good about training. You're not always going to feel good about the decision in the ring, but that consistency and building up is really what's going to create a foundation for you. Because win or lose, it's the process that defines who you are. So stick with it early, be consistent, stay in the gym, stay following your goals and dreams, and success will ultimately follow.
Who are some local boxers, or just boxers in general, fighters in general, that you've looked up to and that have inspired you throughout the years?
Well, you know, I mean, again, the relationship with Rivera Promotions, Jose Rivera, I mean, you look at that gentleman and, you know, he was just the hardest worker in the room. You know what I mean? It wasn't about being flashy, it wasn't about a lot of talent, but he worked hard.
Yeah.
And you'll hear stories, if anybody will tell you anything about him. It's just his tenacity and working hard. So for me, definitely hands down, I got to give it to Jose. He's laid the foundation for this city and fighters that are now coming up. And he's given them an opportunity along with myself and others. So, you know, definitely him. Edwin Rodriguez, you know, he's been like a brother to me, you know what I mean? I've been able to spar with him and work from him and kind of watch his example.
And even some of the younger fighters, even like Jermaine Ortiz, I remember training alongside of him when he was young, and to watch him, fight at a big stage, it's rejuvenating, and it's also, a pride moment to see that. So there are a lot of guys, older, younger, that have paved the way and, keep a guy like me in the fight.
Awesome. I want to thank you for doing this interview today. And
Absolutely.
hopefully, I'm wishing you luck. I'm rooting for you. And
Hello, I'm Baker Mayfield.
I'm Anthony Russo.
I'm Donovan Mitchell.
I'm Diana Taurasi,
I'm Ryan Blaney.
and I have something to confess.
I had a formidable Beanie Baby collection.
I used to say YOLO a lot.
I paid a lot of money for ringtones.
I had a sick flowing mullet one time.
My Cabbage Patch Kid's name was Dolores.
I used to rock bleached tips.
I used to rank my friends on MySpace.
I rented movies at Blockbuster.
I used to wear jorts. That's right, jean shorts.
I used to drink Gatorade.
Yeah, I used to drink Gatorade.
We all used to drink it.
It was the only sports drink out there.
Now there's Body Armor.
I drink Body Armor now.
I drink Body Armor now.
I'm Team Body Armor now.
I'm Tiffany Williams back here at Camp Get Right Boxing Gym in Worcester on Millbrook Street. If you haven't been here and you're into boxing or you want to get into boxing, make sure you stop by. This is a really great gym that they got here. Really great fighters, champions. So Demik, thank you for doing this interview first.
Thank you for having me.
How excited are you about this coming up?
Excitement's not even a word to explain. It's crazy because going through the amateur experiences, I fought everywhere. Been all over the place. And this is gonna be my third pro fight. My first one was awesome. Second one was awesome. I was happy and excited, but the excitement doesn't even, that's a word you can't even put on it because it's my hometown. This is where I was originated from. I was born here, to fight for my fans, fight for my people, to put on a show. The feeling it's overwhelming, I'm just ready to go in there and to shine and show my people,
That was my follow-up question was, what does it feel like to come back to Worcester and fight in Worcester?
Amazing. Like I said, I can't put a word on it because to perform in front of the people that I love and care for, my town, it's unbelievable. It's an unbelievable feeling, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
What advice do you have for your opponent?
The advice I have for my opponent, man, just be ready. You better have them hands up because I'm coming with fist of fury. They're coming from every angle, sides, up, bottom, top, side, everything. They come in every direction, power, speed, all that. So he better be ready. Hands up, that's it. They're coming.
How did you get into boxing? What was it that motivated you to get into
It's very interesting. So when I was younger, I didn't really have much growing up. Really had nothing, And one day my friend was like, let's go to the gym. Let's go to this gym over here, right? The Boys and Girls Club originally. Let's go to this gym, right? To go play basketball. We're playing basketball, And I've been in a few street fights before, I was happy, excited. I was like, this is kind of thrilling. And one time he was like, oh, let's go lift some weights. Let's go lift some weights. I was like, yeah, let's go up there. So I go up there, and the first person to see me is Carlos. Carlos says, wow, at 14, mind you, 14, I'm about the same height, same build and everything. 14, and he's like, wow, homeboy, you're big. You should do boxing. And I was like, yeah, I've been a few street fights, I could do it. And fell in love with it. Because I always loved fighting, fell in love with it, and I was able to travel, go everywhere because of it. I've been every state almost in the United States. It's good. Awesome.
that feeling when you first stepped into the ring? What was that?
It's different because, obviously you've been in street fight, you kind of just do whatever, but it's sanctioned, it's like, you actually have headgear on, gloves on, and it's nervous, nerve-wracking, all these things going through your body. But then you kind of get to feel like this is me, this is for me, because the first glove touches, boom, then you just go, and your hands are flying already. Next thing you know, the fight's over. You won by knockout, or you won by decision. It's an awesome feeling, So.
You mentioned the Boys Club.
Mm-hmm.
Ionic Ave or the old Boys Club?
The newer one, actually. This one's on 65 Tanner.
Oh,
That's
okay.
when I went to. Yeah, I just came right before, right as they moved from Ionic Ave to 65 Tanner.
And how was it fighting?
We had a few fights there. It was awesome. You get a big crowd. You get your people supporting you behind you. Like, it was, your area. It was your expertise. So people were just there. And it's very fun and exciting.
When you got the call that you were going to be on this card, this New England Futures 7, what was the feeling that went through you?
Many feelings. One, first, hometown. It's my hometown. I'm fighting for my hometown. The Palladium. I've always watched people fight in the Palladium. I'm like, man, I can't wait to fight here. This is where I want to fight. And then travel from there, go up. Two, another feeling of amazement because it's under Jose Rivera. He was another idol that I looked up to. 3-time world champion. I always just looked up to him like, I want to be doing what this guy's doing, And for him to put me on his card, it's very exciting, because I always looked up to him.
So I was going to ask you, when you look around this gym, you see a lot of pictures. Muhammad Ali.
Right.
You see guys like Rashad Minor on the wall back there. A couple pictures of Jose.
Right.
A lot of them have left their mark on this city. A lot of boxers. There's a strong boxing history in Worcester. Guys like Bobby Harris. What type of mark do you hope to leave on this city?
A mark like no other. These guys are up here, and I definitely want to be up there with them too. But I want to be on the top. I want to be up there, like one of the Alis, one of the Joe Frazier's, one of the Joe Foreman's. Like I want to be up there, the top of the top. And to be on the same wall as these guys would be amazing. To be on the same wall, have that mark on the town, the city, like knowing like that, oh, this man is great, he's a great fighter, or he's a world champ, to have that title, world champion, like that, what? Bring that back here, like walking in glory, so.
Think there'll be a parade for you if you become world?
I hope, maybe one day,
Folks to Worcester.
One day, maybe, you never know, you just work your way to the top and everything falls in place, really.
This fight is weeks away. It's not months away. It's not a couple years away. It's a matter of weeks away.
Right.
How have you been preparing mentally and physically? And what is your mindset right now?
Obviously we up the training as we go. We're always doing more stuff, adding stuff into our arsenal. Like every single thing we can pick up, we're always picking it up, adding more things to what we have. The extra stuff as doing hills on a Sunday, like this sand hill, like to the miles of running, to the amount of calisthenics, weightlifting, all that stuff. We add all that to our arsenal, and the tricky stuff too. Like swimming and the extra stuff, like running, like I said, the hills, like sand hill, like a big sand hill, like a mountain. Yeah. And that's what's getting me prepared mentally, because if I'm hurting on those and I'm grinding through, in a fight it'll be a breeze because this is what I know, So now, I might be a little tired. Oh, I don't care about that wind. Boom, 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 and the fight's over, So mentally, I'm there. Just the hard work, dedication, the grind, just consistent effort, and just keep putting forward. I'm ready, As soon as I step in that ring, he better be ready too, because if he's not, then it'll be too late for him. We gotta catch up.
How do you attack first? How do you go at this without giving out too many details?
It's always the jab. Jab is always what tells. You throw out the jab a few times, see what they do. Double it, they see what they do. Do a feint, see what they do. And then that's when, I start breaking them down. Like I'll come out, double jab, see if he reacts. If he don't react, then come double jab, right hook, or come in double jab, turn, pivot out, boom, and then catch him with something else. It just depends on like how they react to that. Mainly just a jab though. Jab puts everything in perspective. You see that. If they react to it, all right, now I'm gonna size you up, throw a few more, and then see where I'm coming from. But the speed, the power, all that stuff, that's gonna come into play too. If I throw a fast jab, he don't catch it. Oh, no, I know I can catch you with that jab every single time. So definitely a power of attack. Forward angles, speed, technique, and they can't keep up. Then I just know it's over. So.
Do you want to do a shout out for your manager?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my manager, Nate Torres. I thank him for everything. He's always powering through. Give a shout out to my other coaches too, Rocky Gonzalez, Carlos Garcia. Like these guys have always paved the way for me, helped me, and they go endlessly. They always give, And I'm very happy that I hooked up with Nate, because he has the same vibe as me. That same vibe, that we work towards, that we're gonna make it. We're going to the top. I don't care how we have to do it, we're going up there. So, you know, I just want to definitely give a shout out to him. And I really appreciate him for what he does. And all my coaches and stuff.
Next to your management, there's a quote on the wall. Because to be a champ, you have to believe in yourself when no one else will.
Right.
What does that mean to you?
Honestly, you know, when it's happened time and time again, you know. So like, people always believed, you know, that, you know, I would go up. So I know if they believe, I believe, you know. So that, you know, when no one else will, like, I've just always had that mentality, like, I don't care what other people think, you know. It helps if they think they believe in me, but I believe in myself. So no matter what, if no one else believes me, I'm still going to the top. I don't care, you know. It doesn't matter to me. Like, I just have that determination inside me.
I like your determination because it reminds me of the guy on the wall over
Mm-hmm.
Ali.
Right, exactly.
Exactly like him.
Exactly.
That was his attitude.
Exactly.
I don't matter what, it doesn't matter what you believe in.
Right,
It
right.
doesn't matter what someone over here says. As long as I know where
Yep,
I'm going.
I know where I'm going,
there.
and I'm getting there, no matter what. I'm gonna get there.
And that's the determination that every fighter should have.
Right, right, right.
So, going from there, we just saw a bunch of kids walk in front of the camera. What advice do you have to kids that are growing up that want to become boxers and that are looking up to you?
I mean, this is a common thing too, because like I literally am like big brothers to many kids. Like many kids, I have best friends that I've been big brothers to. I've guided them. I have kids. I work at a school, you know, and I guided them. Like they're like special ed kids, but I guide them every day, helping them every day. The advice I have to any kid becoming a boxer is, you know, don't give up. Like, you might not be as skilled as somebody else. You might not be as fast as somebody else. You might not be as smart as somebody else. But you grind and power through, you will be a champion. You will be a champion. You just have to have that determination to just keep powering through because, you know, everything else, like, you know, life gets you down. Life is everywhere. It messes with everybody in every different way. Just keep powering through and you will be a champion. That's the advice I have for your kids, you know.
So we asked people what questions would they want to ask some of the fighters today. And we picked one question out of all the questions.
Mm-hmm.
And this one comes from, and I'm sure you know this one, this guy is AJ.
Yep.
What message do you have for kids in the city that may look up to you or may want to box one day? What advice would you offer them?
Advice you'd offer? You know, like I said earlier, you know, it's tough. Life is tough, and it gets you down. Just work hard, you know, and if you believe in yourself, you will succeed. You will. You know, you just have to believe in yourself and power through. There's many different avenues you can take that will help you. Like I have a business degree in Worcester State. I have a business degree. Like, that's something I'm trying to add to my arsenal to pick up and, you know, carry along with me. Like, you know, sometime down the line, I want to own my own business, my own job, like have my own spot, and, you know, help kids to come into the community, like that's in the community, to come in and, you know, take boxing classes, learn self-defense, you know, not to use it on the streets, but like just to help yourself, just in case something happens. And then if you really, you know, you're good at it and you're working hard at it and you feel it, just go, you know, compete. It doesn't hurt, you know. You can only, you know, go up. You just keep fighting and, you know, get better. You get to travel, you get to do all this stuff. It's fun. It's very fun, you know. And it's very rewarding too, very rewarding. You know, you meet a lot of people down the avenue. You meet a lot of good people. You meet a lot of like strong people that are like power, determined, you know, that want to help you succeed too. So it only brings better avenues. Like I said, I didn't have nothing coming here, like nothing. Like I was, you know, troubled parents, like didn't have a father figure. You know, mom was struggling, you know, and that was like a second home. And that can become your second home, a place where everybody loves you and just wants you to succeed too. You know, be part of a team, family, another family, you know.
What's at stake for you in this upcoming bout?
You know, obviously the record, you know, because I want to keep being undefeated, and just, you know, showing people that I belong here. I'm here, you know, like I'm here to stay. I'm gonna be here. I'm powering through, and you're gonna keep seeing me. You're gonna keep seeing my face everywhere you go. You know, it's gonna be a mark. It's gonna be a mark. And just, you know, that's really it, you know?
Hello, I'm Baker Mayfield.
I'm Anthony Rizzo.
I'm Donovan Mitchell.
I'm Diana Taurasi,
I'm Ryan Blaney.
and I have something to confess.
I had a formidable Beanie Baby collection.
I used to say YOLO a lot.
I paid a lot of money for ringtones.
I had a sick flowing mullet one time.
My Cabbage Patch Kid's name was Dolores.
I used to rock bleached tips.
I used to rank my friends on MySpace.
I rented movies at Blockbuster.
I used to wear jorts. That's right, jean shorts.
I used to drink Gatorade.
Yeah, I used to drink Gatorade.
We all used to drink it.
It was the only sports drink out there.
Now there's body armor.
I drink Body Armor now.
I drink body armor now.
I'm Team Body Armor now.
Can't get right. Boxing gym here in Worcester. I'm Tiffany Williams from Worcester Sports Journal, Worcester Daily News. I'm here with Bobby Harris III. It's an honor to be sitting here next to you and doing this interview with you. I'm digging the Woo Sox hat, by the way, because I covered the Woo Sox.
Thank you.
And you probably don't know this, but you were at a game recently, and you literally walked right by me. Well, we got a picture of you from the field as you were sitting in the stands.
Oh,
And
yeah?
we posted it on Instagram as a fan in the stands.
Oh, yeah? Oh, that's crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah. And,
That's crazy.
so, and that picture, we were wondering, why is this picture getting so many likes? And then finally we realized one of my producers came and said, that's Bobby Harris III.
That's cool. I gotta find that picture.
So, what was it like when you got the call that you're going to be in the New England Futures side?
It was exciting. I was happy because I've been training for a long time now, so I've been waiting for kind of a moment like this. It turned out better than what I thought it would be because I get to end up fighting in my hometown instead of fighting in another place.
You know, growing up, I was telling AJ before I was talking to you, I actually used to live right next door to your father on Franklin Street.
Oh,
And I
yeah?
remember we all used to hang out at Jimbo's down in downtown Worcester. And those are the old days. You're the newer generation. So there's another generation that's going to come up right behind you. What advice do you have?
The generation behind me, well, most of the kids that I know that are coming up behind me are with Carlos Garcia. So if they keep listening to Carlos Garcia and the people that are around him, they're going to be in good hands.
Explain the adrenaline rush you get when you step inside that ring.
It's definitely it's nothing like it. Some people compare it to a roller coaster, but it's nothing like it. You know, you stepping in there and putting everything on the line in front of everybody you love and everybody who loves you and all the people who want to see you win and even the people who want to see you fail. So there's just nothing like it, but the main thing is to remain focused, try your best to remain calm and remember all the hard work you did before that moment.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I want to brag for a minute because you're one of our local guys. And you've been to the World Games. You're a silver medalist. Is that correct? How proud of you to be there.
Yeah,
It's a major accomplishment.
Yeah. At the moment, I didn't really realize it because I was kind of bummed out that I got the silver and not the gold. I went there looking for gold, you know. So I like to say I received the silver, didn't win the silver. I received the silver because I was looking to win the gold. But actually, after I came home and seeing all my family and all the people who love me, very proud of me about what I did. You know, I gave myself a pat on the back after that.
Not many people locally can say, not many local boxers can come up and say, I've accomplished going to the World Games and bringing back a medal to my city.
Yeah.
And you can actually, you have those bragging rights.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're two-time national amateur champion. It's another accomplishment.
Yeah.
It's another feather in your hat.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Again, I'm proud of myself, you know, I'm happy, you know. But the mentality I have, I'm always trying to achieve more, achieve the next level, you know. So to win not only one, but two national championships
And not a lot of people could say that they've won national championships in Worcester, Massachusetts. Besides my dad, my dad won 4. I ended up winning 2. My dad got a bronze medal in his World's Games. I ended up getting a silver. So basically, it's an honor, also a little bit surreal to me that I get to have those bragging rights to compare myself to somebody as big and as great as my dad was.
I remember the hype in Worcester when your dad got selected to go to the Olympics. I remember just it was a city that was just relived and reborn again when they found out.
Yeah, I constantly hear stories about it all the time where, and they were kind of calling my dad like the mayor of Worcester.
Yeah, he was the unofficial mayor of Worcester. Yeah. What is at stake for you in this battle?
What's at stake for me? I don't really think about that too much. I just think about what I have to do and what my job is to do, and that's just to perform and do what I do best and feel good doing it, have fun.
This fight isn't a year away, it's not months away, it's weeks away. What have you been doing over time to get yourself mentally, physically prepared for this fight?
Well, I train for every fighter the same way. I work hard, listen to my coaches, believe in my skills, believe in my talent, and continue to constantly tell myself that whoever steps in the ring with me, I am the best.
You are the best. You're a record cruiser. We ask people questions. We took one question out of all those questions for everybody we're going to be interviewing today. You know who AJ is? So AJ's question was selected as a question.
Okay.
Ask everybody. And his question was, what message do you have for kids in the city that look up to you and that want to come up behind you?
The number one thing I would probably say to the kids is to never stop dreaming. Never stop believing in your goals. I feel like too many kids grow up and their dream starts to fade because they get too messed up with what people are telling them is what the real world is. They tell you you have to work, you have to do this job, you have to do that job, you have to constantly, you have to be here, you have to make a certain amount of money, you have to get a car, you have to get a house. I'm not saying you not to do those things, but what I'm saying is never doubt yourself, never tell yourself that you're not good enough, or never say that you're not capable of doing something. Constantly dream, constantly stay focused, constantly believe in yourself, and belief is. I mean, I became a 2-time national champion, silver medalist in the World Games, fought and beat the best guys in my country. And that would never happen if I didn't believe in myself.
There's a quote over here. To be a champ, you have to believe in yourself when no one else will.
Exactly.
Exactly what you just said.
There's a lot of times where and it hurts because some of the closest people to you, you'll try to explain to them your dreams and your beliefs in life. And they'll look at you like you're crazy, or they'll look at you in shock, or they'll look at you like they feel bad for you that you feel the way you do. But you have to put those things aside and constantly believe in yourself, even when nobody else believes in you. You have to be your own, you have to have the most belief in yourself, even when nobody else sees it.
What, if you're looking in the camera and your opponent is right there, what do you have to say then?
To my opponent?
Yeah.
It's just a corpse. It's just a body to be there. For me, he's gonna be there for my show. You know, it's gonna be my show when I fight. So he's just there to play his part, and I'm there to play mine.
Awesome. I want to thank you very much, and again, it's an honor to be sitting next to you. You have so many bragging rights in the city. Good to You're a champion. We need more champions in our city.
Yeah, definitely.
We need more champions to mentor the up-and-coming generation as
Definitely.
well. I'm wishing you a lot.
Hello, I'm Baker Mayfield.
I'm Anthony Rizzo.
I'm Donovan Mitchell.
I'm Diana Taurasi,
I'm Ryan Blaney.
and I have something to confess.
I had a formidable Beanie Baby collection.
I used to say YOLO a lot.
I paid a lot of money for ringtones.
I had a sick flowing mullet one time.
My Cabbage Patch Kid's name was Dolores.
I used to rock bleached tips.
I used to rank my friends on MySpace.
I rented movies at Blockbuster.
I used to wear jorts. That's right, jean shorts.
I used to drink Gatorade.
Yeah, I used to drink Gatorade.
We all used to drink it.
It was the only sports drink out there.
Now there's Body Armor.
I drink Body Armor now.
I drink Body Armor now.
I'm Team Body Armor now.